Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday, and welcome to YouTube Live. I'm your host, Philip Quinn, Medium Life Guide, and I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Today, we're talking about a topic that I often get not only in readings, but throughout my career, people have asked me about how can you tell the difference between your gut or your higher self, your consciousness, the energy that is you. But for people who are in Isaac says hello to everyone. Sorry, but people who are in the being a light worker, doing healing, doing readings, tarot cards, whatever it may be, one of the things that people face all the time is how do I know my higher self's talking to me? How do I hear it versus how do I trust my gut? And it's a really, really fine line, but it's something that comes up quite often in people's lives. And there is a way to tell the difference between you're connecting to higher self and or you're yourself making those feelings possible. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. So when I first started doing my readings and I was working with Isaac, my first guide's name was Teddy. So Teddy taught me the basics of spirituality. Then I had Red Feather, who taught me all about the healing in the body. And then Isaac comes in and he teaches me all about my gift and how to use it. So one day I asked him, how do I know I'm connecting with spirit versus I'm not making it up in my head? And for anybody who's had that issue, hit the like button or a heart button if you've come across it, or you've come across, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Like you had that gut feeling like not to do it, but you went ahead and did it. And that's your higher self talking to that hindsight, like, I knew I shouldn't have done it, but we want what we want. So what that means is there's still a human part of us, Isaac's saying. And the human part of us wants what it wants. It wants to have that relationship with that particular person or that vehicle or that shoe or whatever. But it is governed by your higher self, so your consciousness. And when we connect to our consciousness, we get very clear, concise information. What happens is people think that when your higher self speaks to you, it's going to be in this very long, drawn-out explanation. And I assure you, that's not how guides work or your higher self works, because we came here as a journey and to learn. So when you get that feeling, don't go down that area or stay away from that person. How that comes is, Isaac's saying, it's an instantaneous response. Whenever somebody asks you a question, you immediately get an answer. And your first answer often comes from the gut. The solar plexus is known as the doorway to the soul, to your higher self. So that's where you'll typically feel it. Now, in that moment, because of free will, Isaac says, you will either trust what you hear or go along with what you're feeling. When your higher self speaks to you, it'll say no or it'll say yes, but it will not vary on whatever answer you get, and it will not go into an explanation. Because when it says yes or no, you just know that that's the right answer for you, and you don't need an explanation. When it's you talking, when it's you trying to figure it out, you'll have multiple scenarios and multiple solutions, and you'll always look, well, this could happen or this could happen. When spirit is talking to us, our guides, our angels, our family member, or your higher self, the answer is instantaneous and it never wavers. So when I had to do my first reading, I was faced with this, like, do I interpret what the soul was saying to me, or do I just say directly what the soul was saying to me? So obviously I chose to say exactly what the soul was saying, because the reading is not about me, so it's never going to work in my life. What the information I'm hearing, it's about you, the sitter. And that's where the trust part comes into this. Everyone's afraid of being wrong if they share psychic information and the person doesn't understand it. Remember, events happen later, number one, and two, people get something called psychic amnesia. And that's when you completely go blank when you're having your reading. You forget who you're looking for, you forget the souls that have passed over. But in this case, we're talking about one of the chakras, the solar plexus, one of the most important chakras. This is the powerhouse for the aura. This literally makes the aura, it gives it all its strength and power. So if someone comes up to you and is trying to sell whatever it may be, and you get this gut feeling of wait, pause, don't, whatever it may be, listen to it. Doesn't mean you can't go back to it. What it's saying, your higher self is saying, pause, you don't have enough information. This is too good to be true. This may not work out for you. You may see somebody that you want to have a relationship with and the time is perfect, but all of a sudden you get this gut feeling. How can I tell if that's not fear, Isaac, or it's my gut talking to me? And what you're bringing me back to is your gut will give you a simple, direct, clear answer. You will hear it extremely loud. When it comes to you, you will have multiple scenarios of what could go wrong and what may not go wrong. Your higher self, your angels, your guides would never do that. They give you a very strong sensation is this is the way to go. When we get into trust with spirituality, it's a really, really tricky thing because you're putting your faith, your wording in the hands of something that you see. For anybody who is readers, for anybody who are healers, for anybody who does any type of light work, there's a flow of information that comes through that it's very difficult to explain to someone who is not or hasn't experienced any sort of light work. But you yourself know that when your gut's talking to you, or if you've made a mistake with your gut, you'll get that sense also, I shouldn't have done that. And then a little on down the line, we see why we shouldn't have done it. And a way to avoid that is whenever the situation is, and you ask yourself that question, and you get an instant answer, that is your answer. As you proceed on, if you start making all of these ways it could go wrong or it could work, that's you, not your higher self. Because remember, we deal with free will. And in free will, we have the right to say, no, I want this, or no, I don't want this. And when you look back on it, you'll laugh and say, I know not to do that. So what do? We put this into practice every day. The more you talk to your higher self, your angels, your family, your guides, and you simply say, show me the path to get to where I need to be in this clearest form. When you designed your contract, everyone, you never wrote in difficult things. You never wrote in hardships. But those things happened here on earth. In your path, you typically write in the things that you need to master and or overcome. And learning your gut reaction makes your path that much easier when you're walking through it. So it's kind of one of the first steps in spirituality of mastering. And what I say by mastering is, Isaac's asked me to tell you all, spirituality is not something that is difficult. And I know everybody wants to think, oh no, it's got to be Phil. No, spirituality is as difficult as you want to make it. And most importantly, about where you're coming from. If you're coming from a place where you want to evolve, if you're coming from a place where you're ready to change your life or you don't like the way you are, knowing your chakra system, knowing how your soul is speaking to you, and once you learn how to read it, everything's a cake. And what I mean by that is your path becomes significantly smoother. You'll fade away from the things that don't serve you and the people who don't serve you, and you'll be surrounded simply by people that work with you and help you down your lane rather than dragging someone down your path. So I know a lot of us have had a gut reaction, an example meaning that, let's just say you're purchasing a car and you just get that weird feeling, but you have no facts, nothing to back this up. Somebody tells you a story, you get this weird feeling in your gut, like something's not right here. That's your higher self, angels, guides, family member, whoever it may be speaking to you. And often what happens is someone will say to you, nah, you're just making it up because you're nervous. Or you're telling yourself that because you're afraid of being disappointed. Or when a child sees a soul and we tell the child, no, you're not really seeing that. We squash that. Then the event happens and you look back and say, see, told you so. And what Isaac's saying is, if you can bring yourself to a point to trusting your gut. So one of the examples I use for that, I'm not suggesting anybody do this. I was a young man when this happened. When Isaac asked me to quit my job when I was 19, and I had a great job. So, excuse me, and I did. And I came home, and my girlfriend at the time said, what are you doing home? And I said, I quit my job. But you have to keep in mind, I had never done a reading before. But Isaac said to me, your readings will come. But he never said when. Now, again, that's my faith in spirituality and Isaac, and I was able to take those risks. But he's not saying take risks. What he's saying is take a risk in yourself. Know that what you're feeling, I always say this, a woman's intuition is 10 times stronger than a man's. I don't know why, but women, when they feel something, they feel it, and they feel it very deeply, and they know something's up. And that's your higher self and your gut saying to you, what's being said to you, what's being delivered to you is not factual. So how many of you, for the people I can see on here, have issues telling the difference between their gut and their higher self? Either hit the heart or flag or... Awesome. So you're all familiar with this. The easiest way, Isaac says, to train yourself to be in your gut reaction, meaning your gut voice, your immediate reaction to things, is when you're in any sort of scenario, asking for a raise, having issues with your kid, asking the question, and you immediately get that response. Go with that response first. So if it's a conversation, if it's something that you had to confront somebody with, or whatever it may be, go with that first before you go into the what ifs. The moment Isaac says you start hearing what ifs, you know that is the human part of you, not the spiritual part of you speaking. Your gut is here to keep you safe. Your gut reaction is not only to keep you safe, but it keeps us out of harm's way, but also keeps us moving down our path. And although you may meet somebody, you're single for a while, this person looks perfect, but you have that feeling something's not right. Explore that in your head. What is it that I'm feeling that isn't right? It may not give you an answer. The feeling you may get is, I don't know what this is, but I need to take a step back for a moment. And when you step back from any situation, you get to see it clearly versus you have tunnel vision. So Isaac's saying each day, what I'd like to put into practice is this. Be aware of your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is not just the power chakra. It's also information. It's the lead point in your GPS down your path. Be aware when someone says something and you get a feeling like they're lying. Now, Isaac's asking me to explain something here. Someone may tell you something and you don't want to know the truth. You may be in a long-term relationship and you ask somebody, are they being unfaithful or whatever it is, and you have no evidence whatsoever, but your gut's telling you something's awry. Don't discount that, particularly when somebody's saying to you, oh, you're crazy, you're just making that up. If your partner comes to you and says, are you having an affair? I don't know why I'm using this example right now, but if you're having an affair and your gut's telling you no, they are, and they're convincing you they're not. That's called a spiritual crime, number one. When you're convincing somebody that their gut is wrong. And when you convince somebody that their gut is wrong, even though they're right, you've just created karma for yourself that you don't want to get involved in. So how do we use this on a daily basis? This is how I use it for myself. If I'm trying to figure out a situation, if I'm trying to figure out a problem, if I'm trying to figure out what to do next, the first thing I do is I throw out the question and I listen. And when I listen, I hear an answer coming back. And that goes through my 7 chakras. It lands in my solar plexus and it tells me, yes, it's time. No, it's not. And I've trained myself throughout the years working with Isaac to do this. It is a daily practice. For people who struggle with this, I also get asked, what kind of reading should I have? And a life reading is perfect because you're working with Isaac and he can teach you and show you quick ways to tap into your solar plexus and knowing how to listen to what you're hearing, and also how to use it to your best advantage. It's not cheating. It's there for a reason, to help facilitate you moving through your path. Hi, everyone. I see questions coming up, and I'm going to take them in a few minutes. So I just wanted to cover this because this is something that so many people have happen. They can't tell the difference, or have trouble telling the difference between, is it a dream or is it a vision? And again, a vision feels like it's truly happening, and a dream is something you're witnessing. And with your gut reaction, it's profound. It's boom. You just get it once. You're not going to get it 3 or 4 times. You're going to get it once as something's just not right. And should it turn out not to your favor, you'll always be able to look back on it and say, I knew it. And Isaac says, to avoid that I knew it, let's start listening and trusting our gut, because your gut isn't going to ever lie to you. Your gut is never going to agree with you. Your gut's not going to tell you something, Isaac says, that makes you feel better. Your gut is going to give you the cold, honest truth. Regardless if you're in love, if it's the best job that you could possibly pick, if your gut's saying no, it's for a reason. It doesn't mean that you don't come back to it. It just means that you don't have enough information at that particular time. Your gut feeling, so I'm not sure whose name it is, but they're asking, is your gut feeling is never wrong? No, it's not. Your gut feeling is never wrong, but how you interpret it, that's where it gets dicey. And I can share as much with you here as possible. And that's where life reading is very essential, like to help you understand your chakras and how you read your path. How you read your gut feeling is very, very important. If you put a spin on it, well, now you've complicated it. If you take the feeling for exactly what it is, then there will be no complications. So, Catherine, when you're ready, I'll take some questions, honey. Okay, Heather's asking, once we've gone from doubting, then go to trusting our intuition to actually relying on it, do you just hack away at the caution tape and always follow where your gut leads you to? Yes. So no matter where the caution tape is, your gut's going to always steer you through that. It's not going to say bust through it. It's going to say go around it this way or go around it that way. When you get into a pattern of listening to your gut, this happens in a very short period of time. Isaac's saying this is not something that takes a year to learn. This is something that if you're mindful, that's why I always stress being present, know your chakras, and they lead you through your path. But if you make it a daily mantra to stay present and listening to your gut, even write it down anytime it happens, you'll see how easy life becomes. Is overthinking a sign of ignoring your gut? I tend to ruminate on things and that takes me ages to make a decision. Great question. So overthinking is a way of us trying to make what we want fit into a scenario that your gut is telling you isn't working. Number one. Number two, overthinking is a form of procrastination, so you don't have to face the event, but you think you're thinking about it, so you're being actually taking action, but you're not. You're keeping yourself stuck. So spirituality and life events, you'll get an immediate answer, and it's telling you to follow that. If you find yourself overthinking about it, that's your human self, not your spiritual self. Okay, Michelle's asking, hi, Phil. If so, your intuition and your gut feelings are gone, or you don't feel them anymore, does it mean you're completely blocked and in need of serious chakra cleared and balancing? If you are feeling no connection to any of your chakras, you've disconnected spiritually from your spiritual self. Now, that happens to everyone. It's even happened to me. What does that? Life events. Stressors can do that. You can completely just get out of touch with your spirituality where you're not even aware of your chakras, your aura, or your higher self anymore. So it's not so much where you need a clearing, it's what you need an establishment, a reconnection. So it is. And reconnecting to your higher self, one of the ways we do that is just take a moment each day and you ask your higher self, please make me aware of my 7 chakras again, because life takes you out of order sometimes. Your higher self always hears you. Remember, it's you. It's you in your entirety, all of your travels, all of your knowledge, every place you've ever been. And what you're doing here is accessing it. So it's going to give you quite clearly the answers that you need. It's faster that way because trying to connect with a guide or an angel, that's a process versus going straight to the source. Renee's asking, can traumas mess with your abilities to trust your gut and your instincts? I feel like it has for me. Most definitely. Absolutely. Traumas will absolutely make you question your gut. But remember this. Your gut is never going to lead you down a dark path, and your gut is never going to lead you astray where it's not a benefit for you. Anything that your higher self is sharing with you, your angels or guides, it's for your betterment. It's never going to take you down a path that is a negative for you. And if you've lost faith in your gut, I'm sorry, but you can reconnect with it. Traumas are hard to get through, but when you go on your soul journey, and that's what the soul coach are for, in the connection to your inner child. When you go on your soul journey, that's when all the healing takes place. And it sounds like you're ready to heal. Megan's asking, sometimes I know exactly what my gut is saying, but I go against it because I'm afraid of leaving what I've known. My fear is really strong. How can I get through this and follow my gut? That's a great question. And that's exactly what keeps people stuck. Is sometimes I know exactly what my gut is saying, but I go against it because I'm afraid of leaving what I know. So essentially what you're saying is, it's better the devil I know than taking a leap of faith into something new. And that's where most people get stuck. And Isaac's reply to that is, it most certainly is not better the devil that you know, because your soul only guides you to good things. Now, I know you may be people may be in a marriage, they may be in a relationship with kids and so on. It's not so easy to part. But if your soul is telling you this is not right for you, no matter what you do, it will not work. And in soul work, you do have to face certain things that are frightening and scary and so on. But if you feel the same answer come over time and time again, what your higher self is saying to you, unless you face this, we can't move forward. And it will wait for as long as it needs to be, let me tell you. Okay, Omar's asking, does your intuition get stronger the more you use it and the more you follow your gut? Absolutely. When you are following your higher self and your gut, and you're doing you, you're not doing what other people want you to do. You're not doing what other people are saying you should do. If you have a sense of who you are, the field you want to go into, or the person you want to be, you live in your true self. Not only does it make your intuition stronger, but it also gives you a stronger connection for you getting communication from your gut. Go ahead, Catherine. Sorry, I'm a little delay. Okay, next question. Why do I feel like I need permission to trust myself? And what can I do about that? So let me answer this the best way I can. Why do I need permission? You need permission because you seek outside validation, not something that you set out to do, but because of your upbringing, you were probably told what to do, how to do it, the way to do it. So giving yourself permission to change your life and better yourself is a very, very frightening thing to do. But the best thing that you can do is live your truth, live your faith. And how we go about doing that is baby steps. You don't jump into the big stuff. Trusting your gut is asking yourself a question. Should I buy these shoes? No. When it says no, you don't need a why to that, because you just know what not to do it. Should I change my job? You get an immediate reaction. You start out small and you start hearing the connection over and over in a very short period of time, the more you're talking to your higher self, the clearer the communication comes for you all. So Samantha is asking, is my gut feeling literally a gut feeling? Like, will I feel an answer in my stomach? It's a great question, Aria. I'm so used to listening to my head, my heart, which always lead me to which hasn't always led me to the best places. Okay, great question. The head, the crown chakra, and the heart chakra never talk. They never are in agreement. The heart wants what it wants. The head wants that person to be what it wants it to be. And to answer your question, will the answer be in your gut? It comes through the gut, but goes to the crown and gives you the clarity, the answer of what you need. If you're hearing it all in your head and your gut is essentially quiet, that's the human part of you, the fear part of you that's saying, this could go wrong, this could go wrong, this could go wrong. The gut is subtle but strong. So starting today, what I want you all to do, Isaac's asking, be mindful when someone asks you a question, when someone asks you, do you want to take this job? If somebody asks you anything, just hear what the gut has to say and let them answer the question. And whatever your immediate reaction is, it may be not sure, or it may be, yes, that's good for me. It feels right. I want to do this. When it feels right, Isaac says, the pathway to that success is smooth. It's not like you're skating uphill. When you're doing something over and over again, or dating the same person over and over again, or trying to get through to somebody the same way, and you're coming up with the same results, that's a human part of us. And we're not listening to our higher selves. So for the remainder of the week, be mindful of the solar plexus. The feeling that it gives you is like a rumbly, not a nervous feeling, but rather, this is not right. And that's what you're going to be listening to, because that is your higher self. So happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm so glad I was able to make it this week, and hopefully we'll be able to make it next week. For anyone who has any questions, please go to philipquinn.com. I've opened up my schedule to allow for more readings, but for anyone who is looking to specifically connect with their spiritual self, a life reading is probably the best one, the best way to go about it, because you'll be working with Isaac and getting clarity on how to do it. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you, Catherine.